The Pabst Theater Group closed its 4 venues in mid-March due to the COVID-19 pandemic and don't expect to be back with live shows in the near future. The financial losses have been staggering and the cultural losses to the city immense. I spoke to Pabst CEO and co-owner Gary Witt and COO Matt Beringer in May.
How many concerts or events and how much revenue do you estimate you guys have lost?
I mean,
in round numbers.
Yeah, well, we lost everything. We've lost the entire month of March through December. I mean, we're basically thinking that 2020 is gone at this point in time.
The losses are extreme. I mean, there's obviously losses associated with, what would have come along from the standpoint of, the show revenue, but we're also talking about just maintaining some semblance of a basic overhead as a company too. And that's quite significant.
You could say, woe is me, that we've lost 600 shows, which if you look at 600 shows, I mean, if we're doing $26 million in sales a year, I mean, you could subtract that out and kind of figure out where, what our losses are. But you could also say this, and this is where the loss is really when you think about, what our contribution is to the city. And that's where we've learned, Matt and I, and growing from 2002 with 1 venue to now having 4 venues and outdoor shows and arena shows and things like that, is that studies in Chicago and New York and arts and theater and music groups have shown that for every dollar spent on a concert ticket, $12 are contributed somewhere in the city for additional revenue for restaurants, bars, coffee shops, hotels, car rentals, legal things. So that's just the legal thing. So, if you look at what we contribute, I mean, you're obviously looking at we're contributing in the neighborhood of somewhere around $200 million a year in revenue for the city of Milwaukee.
In the meantime, the Pabst Group established a Revive Live music initiative to give artists and fans an ongoing music presence virtually.
The streaming is an obvious answer just from the standpoint of it's not a replacement for a live concert or anything like that, but it is, a window into the ability to see some new music from an artist and get some of that engagement that you currently is just plain unavailable to the public, period.
Gary, what's the future going to look like for the live entertainment business?
That is really, Matt got a much easier question than I got on that one. Thanks, Raul. That's
why
totally
you get
not
the big
fair.
bucks and the fancy backgrounds.
Yeah. Right. Yes, exactly. I think it's all about 2 things for us. It's about preparedness and having a good knowledge base of what it takes to be prepared. And I think there's a good large group of concert venues across the entire state of Wisconsin that are working together to try to mine what are best practices to be used by everyone across the state, so we can when we do open, our governor can have confidence that we'll be doing it as one. The other side of it is that, I think when we look at how we return, we find ways to be able to improve our experience for our customers. We'd all be happy to be experimental and assist in the possible return of concerts, but let's focus on facts here, though. We have an organization where we employ, a significant number of people in the city of Milwaukee, and we have an operation with rent and utilities and various bills that we have to pay. We actually have to create revenue from our business, and we can't. There's a danger of doing smaller truncated shows of 200 or 100 people in a 1,000-person venue, that you don't want it to appear as if everything is back to normal and you're actually in business again. Because the study that have been shown in NEVA now are that if there isn't funding for independent venues in 6 months period of time from the federal government, 90% of them will end up going out of business. And we're not void of that as a business. We also need to have some cash coming in order to be able to survive.